Hello and welcome, I'm Raziel, and so we had the big summer preview. I've got to say, I'm not entirely disappointed. I'm going like every year, and everything. I'm only going to cover the games that I play and talk about those. Quick sidebar though to go with that. When it comes to the Chaos Dwarves, I just prefer Mantic's Abyssal Dwarves. That's just my opinion. I think they have more charm than what Age of Sigmar produces. And that's it, okay? So, first things first, it's the Death Watch for Killteam. Killteam is actually a good game, and I'm quite surprised at it, to be honest with you. It just shows that Games Workshop can make good games. And, they don't have to always balls up the rules. So, we got Killteam. Killteam is Death Watch, I should say. Death Watch is one of my favourite chapters, by far. Absolutely love them. I think the idea of a sort of mixed bunch of Space Marines, teaming up, doing things together, doing missions, and then you've got the inter-chapter rivalries and stuff like that. All, being part of this storyline is an interesting thing, and I think it's kind of cool. So, Renewed Deathwatch, I was first quite apprehensive when they announced it. Okay, it's like, oh great, they're Primaris, that's Monopose, that means the veteran box, which had lots and lots and lots of stuff in, is going to be torn back and ripped apart. So basically, you're only going to be able to make the models shown. Oh, how wrong I was, and so happy that I was wrong. So you do get lots of bits in this. I think that's quite interesting. Because if we go to, here's a Reaver one, because that's the most explained. That's the one armor that we can see clearly. And we got him there, and where else is he? There he is. I jumped over him there. As you can see, there is actually going to be bits. There's going to be spare bits. And this is not just me going, oh, maybe they're just lazy with the modeling and posing and stuff like that. No. I actually did double check this, because if we go to the bottom of the page, Gravis armored body can build 3 different operatives, of which you only need to choose 2. That's actually quite cool. I quite like that. Which means you are going to have spare bits. You also got 2 squads, not the 1 squad. So it's a 10-man team. You're going to have 2 squads, which is even cooler. So which means you can really sort of build your units as you wish, up to the point that Games Workshop lets you. But I like the fact that they are doing that. I think that's really cool. And of course, you've got the spare shoulder pads, which is always neat as which is really cool. It's like if you're doing Shattered Legions. I was thinking of doing Shattered Legions. I was going to get some veteran models just for the shoulder pads. Yeah, it was going to save me money in the long run. Like, seriously, save me money. But yeah, I like the fact that you've got to have lots of bits. You're going to have lots of bits of models, lots of shoulder pads, and stuff like that. Like I said, if you're doing Shattered Legions, it'll be pretty cool, because then you'll be able to add these to your Horus Heresy as spare bits for Shattered Legions. And I'm going to come back to this box in a minute, because I want to talk about the next one. But yeah, the fact is, I don't think you're going to get as many bits as you would with the veteran box, of course. There are some other things like the swords here, and this sword here. This is one I don't like, so it's going to be a bit of converting on my part. Is on the same arm. I jumped over it again. Is on the same arm as the shield, but as you can see, this guy has a mace, so converting it isn't going to be an issue. Same with the Xenoblade there. Yeah, phase sword, I should say, not Xenoblade. It is completely Necron, but Necrons, honestly, they look nice. They look good. I have no issues with these. That looks kind of cool, actually, like big bugs. Yeah, can't complain. Really cool. But yeah, the Deathwatch has really got me. I think the Deathwatch is cool because you've got lots of spare bits there. I definitely wouldn't get this big box. The starter set, if you want to get the starter set for Killteam, get the starter set, the £67 one, £67.51. Don't bother with any of these expansions. Just buy the books separately. These are just a waste, to be honest with you. I have no love for these, because just if you want this book that bad, just get that book separately. Don't go out buying this box. It's going to be about £100 when this starter set's so much better anyway. And you can do Killteam with that one too, because that's Space Marines. Next is the Space Marines Champions of the First Founding. I think this is probably going to be tying in with this Scouring book. You have Vulcan Hestan. Don't like his cloak. That's about all I can say about him. This is pretty cool. It adds a nice bit of kinetic to this model, so he's not so static. The cloak just doesn't look very good in my opinion. The pose is pretty cool. He looks like he's walking through a fire. If you're adding some smoke and cotton wool stuff, it would make it even better, especially if it's black. Really cool. I do like this head, though. I always give him helmets because, you know, pew, bullet. This bit looks good. Yeah, all apart from the cloak and this bit here, which is a shame because, as you can see, it's molded on to the shoulder pads. But a little bit of converting would probably be able to remove all that. But yeah, it's a nice model. It's good looking. Just don't like the cloak. Next is Lysander for the Imperial Fist. Would look better in midnight blue with red hands. Of course. Of course. It's an Imperial Fist. I don't like Imperial Fist. I think they're the worst chapter. But, however, actually a good use of a tactical rock. He actually looks like he's moving. It sounds weird, even though this is a very static pose, and it is. This actually has some movement to it. It actually looks like he's just slammed it down, like he is ready to hit someone. And that's a good use of a tactical rock. And the way his feet are, as you can see, they're level, it's a completely optional tactical rock too, which is also very cool. Like his shield, it's really nice. Again, would look better if it was all crimson fisty. Terminator head, this is a very nice looking model. I have no issues with this. I think it looks cool. Especially if you're doing Horus Heresy, these two extra bits would look really nice. A little bit of converting, you can make him a Terminator Praetor or Centurion. Basically, don't forget this armor was available during the Horus Heresy, they just haven't written rules for it yet. You would have to remove this here, because that contains part of the Emperor's armor in it. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. I can't complain, I think it looks nice. Now, this one I'm torn about. It's not a bad looking model, it's a very good looking model. It is. And, however, I would say I don't think this is a very good model for the tabletop. I don't know what the rules are, of course, but I don't think this is a very good model for the tabletop. On the basis, it's very static. It's very much a pose for an artisanal model. This would be a good model to paint and build and just have on your shelf to show off your skills and nothing else. I just don't think this is a very good model for the tabletop, in my opinion. It doesn't quite have that tabletop feel to it. That big tree definitely doesn't sell it. It nails him to the ground from a what could be a very good pose. If this is optional, if this tree is optional, as with all these other bits, then yes, this would be a cool tabletop model. You can make it look really nice. Add a bit of a flying base onto him so it looks like he's flying. Tilt these backwards so it looks like they're, with extra movement. Use the back of a spoon. Here, this back of a spoon, and just to mold that so you can actually bend it easier. Yeah, don't use a naked flame. Just heat some metal up to do it. Make sure you wrap up the other ends because metal is a good conductor, and I don't want you burning your fingers. But yeah, if this tree is optional, it would be a very cool model. Don't like this head. Don't like this head. This head's amazing because options are great. Yeah. Aside from that, good artisanal model, very nice looking. I just don't think it's a very good tabletop model because of those reasons. Boring. Karnak is. This is boring. I'm sorry. This is just a dull model. This is like someone went, quick, we need something for Iron Hands, and just slap this together. Look. This is a boring pose. This is a dull pose. I mean, it's even going to be quite hard to convert this because look how their skull is molded into the hand. If they had it up a bit or his hand down a bit, you could convert that and have it turned upside down. I mean, even if he just had his arm forward, that would look a lot better. But this is a very boring model. Look at Donifer. Look at Lysander there. That's a cool looking pose. That's a cool looking model. And there's less on him. It's not a lot of stuff. He has lots of stuff and he's boring. Do you see what I mean? Anyway, that's my opinion. Sabata Khan. This is quite divisive. Now, I don't like the cloak. It's very rigid. Like, that's not how cloaks flatter. That's, they don't go hard angles. This looks backwards to me. I don't know why, but this feels like it's backwards. Obviously, he's swinging it down. How? I don't know, because it's going to collide with the bike there. The fact that it's attached to a tree and the rocks rather than having a flying base, it just, again, completely nails this to the ground and, takes away all momentum. This bit's cool, though. And, yeah, the bike, I don't know. It doesn't look right. It looks like they just went, bike. Let's make a box without wheels, and that's it, and glue it to some rocks. I don't know, but I will be coming to this one in a minute as well again. Combat patrols. Now, I have different things for all of these. Now, one is boring. This one's good if it's for combat patrol. This is a good combat patrol box. Now, let me clear. This is very thematic. It's very salamanders. Lots of fire, lots of melter guns. You've got some, assault intercessors there. But yes, this is a box for salamanders to set things on fire with. That's it. It's good for that. It's for combat patrol. It's for a narrative game. It fits the theme really well. It wouldn't be a bad start for an army. It's better than whatever combat patrol is going on now. Especially if you want to do Space Marines, it would be a good one, but it's not the best one. It's a good combat patrol just for combat patrol. Next is Imperial Fist, which means I've got to say something. I'm going to actually say something nice. I wouldn't say this was a good box in general. It's lots of units, but you do have a variation of units. You've got elites, HQs, and troops. So you've got a nice little selection of units there. Would be better if you had some bikes or something else instead of this honor guard, just to add a variation of unit types. However, this is a good starter box. If you're going to start Space Marines, this isn't a bad place to go. This is a very good place to go. You just have to convert this. So hold on, no, that's flat. So you don't have to convert this. Yeah, very good starter box. Very good for anyone who wanting to do Space Marines. You've got, like I said, nice variation of a starting army there. Very cool. And I can't complain if you're going to use this as a starter set. Next, Raven Guard. Raven Guard, again, it's a nice. This is less of a starter box. This is a good addition box. So if you were to get the Imperial Fist Combat Patrol, then get this box, you would have a very good start to an army. You would have a nice lot of choices. You've got fast attack, a couple of troop choices, elites, a bit of heavy weapons there. Nice choice of characters for your command. Of course, a bit of kit bashing to make them sure that they are just whatever legion or chapter you're doing. It's really cool. Again, this is a good box. I actually like this box because you've got a variation. You have fast attack, heavy support / elite, troops, and your HQ. It's a nice variation. You have a nice centerpiece there. I did mention the centerpiece because it is an ATV and they're quite small. This is quite large. It's a nice centerpiece. So this is pretty cool. So these two boxes together, the Imperial Fist and go away, Andy. Sorry about that. And this and the Raven Guard, really cool. Nice starting army. Next is the Iron Hands, and yeah, no. This is boring. This is boring, dull. One squad of intercessors, 2 turrets, and a HQ. This is a bad. This is one of the worst boxes Games Works. I would say it's almost on par with the Space Marine Combat Patrol box at the moment. The only thing... No, this is worse. This is worse than that. And the reason this one's worse is because you can get the Combat Patrol currently by buying the starter set plus a Librarian and actually saving money. And you get Tyranids with it. This is bad. This is a horrid box. I would not suggest. This is not even good for starting an army. I don't like it at all. The 2 turrets even make it worse. Right. Now, this is where we can bring up Septicon. Now, if you were starting an army for Space Marines, this would be the good sort of way to finish it. If you're doing what I said with the Combat Patrols, you've got the Imperial Fist as your star, add on the Raven Guard, now finish off with Right Scars, you have a nice, fully rounded army, really cool looking. You've got tanks, bikes, jetpacks, lots of units, Terminators, Dreadnought, you've got a nice choice there. And this is where, if this bike has its own rules, and you can use it in any chapter, which would be really cool, then this would be a nice little addition, because you could convert this into whatever chapter you're doing, and then you'd have a perfect little army for £300. Then I would add the Space Marine, then I'd add the Death Watch, just to make sure, things like this dude here, the Raven Guard, and have that own little bit of a taste, a little bit of extra, which is just you, and use extra spare bits just to make it, more your army than anything else. It's not a bad box. I cannot complain that much. Just this guy, I'm not a fan of. It's a nice combat patrol. It's a nice, finishing off an army sort of box as well. It's not bad. Overall, Space Marines for 40k and Kill Team have been really good. I like the Death Watch. I like the fact they got lots of bits and pieces and all that. And the combat patrols are really good. The Chapter Masters are alright. Like I said, I do like Lysander, even though he's an Imperial Fist. The Raven Guard dude, definitely a good artisanal model. I would say it was more for actually just building and painting for the sake of building and painting. It's not something I do, but I can see he's very much that way. That's what way I see him. Don't think he's a very good tabletop miniature, but a good miniature for showing off your skills. The other ones, the Iron Hands is just boring, and the Combat Patrol is just boring as well. He's a nice model, but I think it just doesn't feel right. Like the spear here is going through the bike or something. Like that seems like a really awkward pose. The bike is kind of just a box. Look at the two differences between them. That looks a lot better than that one. It's like we just took the wheels off this and then we made it a bike. Whatever. And of course, Hestan is alright. I just don't like his cloak. But that's just me. That's just 40k stuff. Horus Heresy. Finally. Horus Heresy. My opinion on these is they do look good. Cannot complain about how they look. They're pretty cool looking. However, it's just a reskin. We got Assault Marines already. We have a Mark 6. I know a lot of people don't like Mark 6. We were saturated with them in 2.0, and having different armors is cool. But honestly, what I think GW should have done is, instead of doing brand new Assault Squad, adding the chain axes and the heads onto the other armor, or adding the Mark 6 head onto this armor, and so if you want, so you're not just having a reskin of a unit we already have, and that's it. That's my opinion on this. It's just a reskin. Yes, we've got chain axes, but again, this adds more issues and problems than it solves, because now if you want to give your Assault Marines chain swords, you're going to have to buy a different box or addition onto that to get the chain swords. Yeah, they look good, they look nice, but right now I'd probably say if you're doing traitors, buy Raptors and just sort of like file down the bits and pieces. That's all you would need to do. If you're doing Word Bearers, you don't even need to do that. So yeah, they don't look bad. It's just we should have had a different unit. We should have had Breachers or something, not Assault Marines. I mean, they look good. I'm not going to say they look bad. They don't look bad. It's just that we've got Assault Marines. That's my issue. Okay, we have Assault Marines. We have those already. We need other units outside of that. This is abysmal. This is the sort of thing I've been talking about. This is the stuff that annoys me more than anything else. Right. If you are doing Word Bearers, if you're doing Thousand Suns, you're going to need this book. This is a book you're going to need. If you want a Saturnine Command Squad, you're going to need this book. Why wasn't a Saturnine Command Squad in the Liber Astartes books or the Liber Traitor books? Why not? Why aren't the Thanatos Anointed Conclave, Saturnine for Word Bearers? I think. Yeah, for Word Bearers. Why isn't that in the Liber book? Why do you need to buy this book to use these models? No. And also the Arcana upgrade, once again, why isn't that in the Liber book under Thousand Suns? And, again, this is just the whole, this is DLC for the sake of making DLC, and at £16 is an absolute joke. If Games Workshop comes out and says, we are going to, do all these rules for free. We're going to PDF them as free. You can use them. You don't have to buy the book. You can actually just download the rules to use these models. The models that are in the starter set as well. By the way, just so you know. Yeah, I would say okay, fine. That's all right. I can live with that. That's something I can live with. I would be absolutely okay with that. But the fact is, it looks like you're gonna have to buy a book just to use models that are in the starter set for your models, and I think that's disgusting. I think that's absolutely horrendous, and I don't think it's right at all. Anyway, That's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a lovely time. It wasn't bad for 40k and horus heresy. Oh, quick statement on the Chaos Dwarves. I didn't mention them because I don't play Age of Sigmar. I prefer the Mantic ones. It is a subjective opinion, I know. I prefer the Mantic Abyssal Dwarves. To me, they feel better, they seem better. Especially with Mantic's plastic now being on par with Games Workshop. And before anyone says, no, it's not, it's completely worse. It's exactly the same plastic. Okay? So, yeah. That's why I did mention it. I'm not going to even try them. I'm not interested. I like the Abyssal Dwarfs for Mantic Kings of War. That's it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you wish to save money on your wargaming, as always, check Wailing Games down below for up to 20% off and free delivery up to £20. Yes, I use them myself, and no, I don't get any special favors for saying that. I get my little bit of money from your sales. I don't get any from my sales. So yeah, there's also Forbidden Planet for comics, DVDs, mangas, and all that cool stuff. And I do some really cheap graphic novels from time to time, and it's really cool. My merchandise, comics, t-shirts, and all that other cool stuff. And there's Skyforge. Don't forget Skyforge. A good friend of mine. Let's get him up that Google algorithm and finally Patreon because business. Bye bye.